All right, everybody. So we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the library module. So just as a refresher, remember these are all the modules up top here. We're in library, develop, map, book, slideshow, print, and web. 99.9% of the things we do in this class are going to be done in the library and develop modules. The library module is where we are going to be organizing our photos and rating our photos. So this is like the organization, the cataloging part. Develop is where we're going to be editing our photos, changing what they look like. So I want you guys to think of the organization inside of Lightroom like it's a giant funnel, okay? The biggest part of the funnel, the top of the funnel, right? The biggest, widest part is our catalog, right? So right over here we have catalog. This is every image that I've uploaded to our catalog. So right now I have 226 photos in our Lightroom catalog. There's not much organization in there because remember, I was just dragging and dropping these into that raw folder on our Finder. So I'm just going to click out of Lightroom really quick. And remember, on my external hard drive, let me just click out here. On my external hard drive, I have this RAWs folder with all my raw images, not organized in any way. And remember, we never organize our photos out here in Finder. We're going to do that all through Lightroom. So that's not much of an organization. That's the biggest part of the funnel. We just have all of these things in one giant catalog. So as I go and add photos, that number is going to grow. Right now it's at 226. If I import 50 more photos, this previous import number will then say 50, and this number will say 276 because I've added 50 to this 226. So once again, that's not the best form of organization. It's just, are they in your catalog or not? In a previous module, I think in module 1, I covered how to use the little flags by clicking the flag in the top left corner to call out images. So that's one way of organization. I don't think that it's a very nuanced way of organization. It's essentially saying, this is a good photo, these are bad photos. You know, right now with 226 photos or less, that's not going to be that big of a challenge to organize this stuff. But think about if you keep going with photography, and even this semester, you're going to make thousands and thousands of photos. You want to have better organization than just, is it good or not good, okay? Because if you do that, if you're just counting on that, flagging for organization, a lot of things are going to fall through the cracks. So we're going to talk about moving a little bit further down the funnel. And remember, right now I'm just showing you part of the process. We're building on this all semester long. So just know that you're not seeing the whole road right now. So the next level of editing that we are going to, of cataloging that we're going to do is by using what's called folders. So folders is a way to pull out a collection or I don't want to say collections, by pulling out certain photos, right? So I think one way that you guys could use folders for this class would be you would have a folder inside of the raw image folder that says assignment 1. That's where all your assignment 1 photos would go. Remember, you don't go out here and make that folder ever, ever, ever. Because remember, Lightroom has to have that connection. And if you start adding folders and moving stuff around in here, you broke the connection. We do it all through the Lightroom interface. So, like I said, one way that you guys could use folders is have an assignment 1 folder, an assignment 2 folder. As you grow as a photographer, you might say, I'm going to have a folder for all my images I make in 2020, then all the photos I make in 2021, 2022. So that would just make folders of the images that you made in those years. That's still probably not a very good way of organizing images. That's not an end-all be-all. What you'd want to do is keep moving down the funnel. We're going to make folders and then subfolders. So you could think of it this way. You could make a folder for 2020. Under that folder, you would have an image or a folder that says portraits. So that would show all the portraits that you made in 2020. Landscapes, all the landscapes you made in 2020. Inside of landscapes, you could have another subfolder that says Sedona. So you'd have all your photos in 2020, you'd have your landscapes inside of that from 2020. Inside of that, you'd have your images of Sedona from 2020. So we're eventually going to move farther and farther down the funnel. So let me show you really quick how we're going to make folders. So the first thing that I see in my images is I have a couple pictures of my house. They're not very good photos, but that's okay. So I'm going to select the first one and the last one by holding down Shift. I'm actually going to scroll through my whole catalog here and see if there's other photos of my house. Oh, this is of my house right here. So I'm going to hold down Command to select that. These are all photos of my house. Not the best photos. I don't live in a cave, so those are not my photos of a house. All right, so now I have all of those house photos selected. So going over to folders, I'm going to make sure that the raw folder is selected right here, and I'm going to go over and hit this plus symbol. With that, it says add a subfolder. So I want to do that. I want to add a subfolder under the raws folder. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to call this folder house. So these are going to be all the photos I have in my house. I'm going to make sure that include selected photos is selected, and I'm going to hit create. So now you'll see under the raw folder, I now have a folder that says house with 11 photos. But if I go back to all photographs, notice those photos are still in here, okay? So you can always see these photos inside of all photographs, okay? You could also see them in RAWs. But if I just want to pay attention to just the photos of my house, I could select that and it's going to just show me the pictures of my house. Now if I go back out to RAWs, let's just pretend, for instance, that we're going to pretend that this picture of this rock is also part of my house. It's not. And I'm going to drag it over to the folder called house. And now I'm going to get this warning that comes up that says moving a file on disk. We're going to say move. And now in house, I have those 12 photos, right? So I added the rock photo to the house photo. But if I go out to all photographs, they're all still out here. The rock photo is going to be out here too still. Let me find it. It's one of these two. So now we have a little bit more organization. Let's go back out to all photographs, or actually RAWs, and I'm going to find maybe pictures of my tent. What a weird thing to save pictures of. So it looks like those were all the pictures of my tent. So inside of RAWs, I'm going to hit the plus sign, add a subfolder. We're going to call it tent, include selected photos, create. So now it's just having those photos. But check again, all photographs never goes down. RAWs never goes down. These are still inside of this folder. Now I'm just going to go and say, oh, we got tons of pictures of my dog. So I'm just going to go and select all of these photos of my dog. My last dog that passed away, I had her for 12 years, and I ended up with nearly 40,000 photos of her. And they're all organized actually in the Lightroom catalog. So think about that. All right, those are all my dog photos, I believe, in this folder. So I selected them all. I'm going to make sure RAWs is selected, and I am going to hit the plus sign, add subfolder, and I'm going to say Shiloh, that's my dog's name, include selected photos, create. So now I'm ending up with all of these images in these different folders. This is how we are going to organize our images, okay? This is the first step in how we're going to organize our images. So now I'm just going to hide Lightroom for a second, and we're going to go back out to that folder right here, our RAWs folder. Now if I scroll down, look at what we have. We have folders. I told you never, never, never make folders in here. Never make subfolders in here. Now we're going and we're bending those rules because we're making them the correct way. What you never, never, never want to do is go File, New Folder. That's not how we're going to be making folders, because if you do that, Lightroom will be severely confused. So we're always going to make our folders this way in Lightroom. So I'm just going to go and make, let's say, one more folder. Let's say cave photos. I like taking pictures of caves, so I probably got a lot of them. Let's see. Those are cave photos. Those are cave photos. That's a cave photo. Oh, got more. Oh, nope, nope. I don't want to do that. Sorry, I screwed up. Cave photos. Oh, go back to grid view. That's an out of focus grid cave photo, but we're going to keep it. So I'm going to select those. And remember, when you want to select photos that aren't next to each other, you're going to hold down Command, which I didn't do. These must be cave photos because they're dark. And remember, right now, I'm not picking, oh, this is a good photo, this is a bad photo. I'm just making collections. Scratch that. I'm making folders of these images. Remember, with Lightroom, language is really important because we're like dealing with all of these different ways to talk about organization. Okay, so that's all the cave photos. So now I'm going to go make sure RAWs is selected, hit the plus sign, add a subfolder, caves, include selected photos, create. So now I have, right, these subfolders under my RAWs. If I hide this, we'll see out here, look what's being created, a caves photo, or a caves folder. So let's go back to Lightroom. All right, so that is the first way that we are going to be going about making folders. Once again, I highly recommend that you guys use this to make folders for assignment 1, assignment 2, assignment 3. So, mind you, this isn't the end of organization, it's the very, very beginning of organization. So we want to create these little subfolders so then we can go to the next step. Okay, good luck.